At the law school, we do everything that we can to promote and support our students in their attempts and their objectives to try to achieve social justice, both while in law school and in their careers afterwards. This goal and these values permeate the work of our students throughout all career paths and all the different things that they do. We're committed through our university and through our long-term mission for producing leaders for a more just and humane world. And for us, that means all across the different spectrums of things that lawyers do.
The Access to Justice Institute, or ATJI, connects students to social justice opportunities. Many of these students are participating in our Pledge Pro Bono program. In addition to connecting students to local equal justice organizations to volunteer with them, we also have pro bono opportunities we offer here, including the Moderate Means Program, a foreclosure mediation project, and a youth court, which is part of the larger university's youth initiative. Another youth initiative project is a citizenship program where law students are teaching civics to immigrants in our local neighborhood.
I'm an instructor for the citizenship class. Of course, I'm a volunteer. And what we do is to go into the Yesler Community Center and teach a group of new immigrants to prepare for their citizenship exam. As a speaker of English as a second language, I thought about myself having learned to speak a fluent sentence. It took me about 6 or 7 years. And the students we're teaching in the class, they might have came to this country like 2 or 3 years ago, and they have to learn that 100 questions. I look at those questions, that 100 questions. It can be a huge mountain for them to climb in just a few years' time.
So we had a client referred to us from the MS Society, and she needed estate planning work done, and we were able to do a full range of estate planning documents. We did a will, 2 separate powers of attorney, one for health and one for finances, 2 healthcare directives, one for mental health and one for physical health, and finally a disposition of remains document, which is a document that allows the person to say what they would like to have happen to their remains and at their memorial service.
One of the things we did was interview the client and talk to her about figuring out what her goals were, not just about what the actual documents were, but her goal was to be organized and to try to find a way to make sure that everything was handled so that her family wouldn't feel any burden. And that's what we were able to do for her in sort of a big picture way.
I want to get involved with the project because this is a way of knowing our community. As you know, as a 1 hour, most of the time you'll be spending your time at the library, books, or with students. This is my so-called reality check of knowing the community and just to do some outreach work for the school. It's February. Right now, we are interviewing for summer internships, of course, and I was so surprised that interviewers or the potential employers was so intrigued about us being interviewees or applicants outreaching into the community, teaching English as second language. It has certainly become a topic under my interviews anyway.
Things never go as you think they're going to go. We had this amazing experience, and we had Lisa ready. We're going to go sign the document. She's going to notarize everything. It's like the last day of school.
It was the last day of the semester.
Ready to go. And we show up, and she goes, "Oh no, I wanted this in my will." Which we had sent the documents to her to go over it. She'd never talked about it. And so we had to go back to the school, redo the documents, bring them back, come up with a new date to meet. And it was one of those moments where you go, even when you think everything's planned for, it's real life happens. And there's this moment where.
And the most important thing was to get our client what she needed. Even if that meant we come back a day later, semester's over, whatever. That the client's needs were the most important part of that.
Yeah, there was definitely a moment where we both kind of went, "Oh, can you sign this one?"
And really, she couldn't. It wasn't what she wanted.
So.
But then we went back the next day, and she signed her will, and we got to ask her ask this series of questions when someone's signing a will, and it gives it this very ritual sort of feel to it. and it felt like everybody in the room was very clear that something very important had just happened.
Now we've written wills, power of attorney. I would feel really comfortable doing that kind of work for somebody post-graduation.
Yeah, absolutely, because we've done it. And I'll always think of her as my first client ever. Yeah.
The thing I love most about Seattle U and the law school in particular is how mission-driven we are. And we stand for educating students to be leaders and to work for justice in every aspect of the education of our students, from the centers, ATJI, to the clinical program in the students, where the students take courses and represent clients, to our externship program, where we send students all over the world and all over our country to work for justice in placements. This school stands for access to justice, and we're educating our students at every place in the school to do that.